All right. It didn't say recording. Did it say it on your end? It's showing recording, but it didn't say it on my end. But it is. Okay, so we are doing part 2 of your sales system. So we did part 1 last week. If you're watching this and you haven't watched part 1, go watch that video. Super good. And then these are your next steps for and just as a reminder, the difference between sales and recruiting are sales are when you're selling the product. Recruiting is when you're recruiting business builders. So we are talking about selling the product in our discussion today. And so here's what I want you to keep in front of mind is that you're looking for any and every reason to get into conversations with people and move them through the sales funnel. I mean, at the end of the day, you're in sales and you want the more conversations you're in, the more sales that you're going to have. It's just the way it works. And so like, did they like your post? Do you have things in common? You're going to kind of just always be looking for reasons to have more conversations. And I like the idea of really focusing on, do you guys have things in common? Did they like your posts? Are they supporting you? As opposed to, because I think it can feel icky when you're thinking of it from the perspective of everybody needs Plexus and I am only talking to people to sell them Plexus. Okay. When what you're really doing is having conversations with people just in case you can solve a problem for them. And that is from a place of service. That is not from a place of, I need you to buy and you to buy and you to buy. So I'm going to talk to you until you buy. And then that's it. That's not where our heart is, because that they will feel that and it feels icky. And so I just like to point out, for your mindset to be, you're meeting people and getting in conversations with people because you might be able to solve a problem. I like to say regularly and often that the more people I am in conversations with, the more I am getting to know them and the less judgmental of a human I become. And that has nothing to do with Plexus, right? Because it's real easy to judge people when you don't know anything about them, their story, their background, or even other people like them, right? Like, and that could be in a million different directions, but I feel like sometimes it's human nature to judge people that are different than us. And it's because we don't understand them. We don't understand the decisions they've made, And so I always like to get to know people more because it truly makes me a less judgmental human. And I do have a tendency to err on being judgy McJudge pants. So again, as you're getting to know people, you might have a fix for them, but that's not why you're getting to know them, right? But you do need to intentionally be in conversations. So, but we are going to talk about having conversations that convert. So I wanted to say all that because I don't want this to be like, talk to everybody and sell everybody Plexus. Like, come with your heart. But when you're feeling and seeing problems that they maybe share or have shared with you, that's where this system is going to come in really handy. So the first thing you need to do is decide and commit. I want you to decide and commit. How many conversations do you have the capacity for each week? I would be shocked if you ever reach that capacity. So when I say how many conversations do you have the capacity for each week, that is not how many reach outs you can send. I might send 100 reach outs in a day and only one person or two people talk back to me. Do you know what that means? I'm in 2 conversations. I'm not in 100 conversations. I was ghosted 98 times and I'm in 2 conversations. So if you're at the beginning of the week sending out lots of messages and you find yourself in quite a few conversations, that's amazing maybe slow up on your reach outs for a minute so that you can really commit to those conversations. Honestly, do you know what I'm saying? But again, you're probably going to be sending lots of reach out messages or DMs or comments to reach your max capacity of conversations. When's the last time, show of hands, any of you were in so many Plexus conversations that you felt overwhelmed and you couldn't talk to anybody else? Okay. It's been a minute, right? It's been, I would say, at least 5 years since I was in so many conversations that I was like, couldn't keep track. Okay. So, but decide. And here's the thing. Don't avoid the people you know the most. Stop avoiding your warm market and dig into conversations there. Decide to start sales conversations. Deciding to start a sales conversation is deciding to reject passivity and taking your success into your own hands. I love that so much. I'm going to say it again. Deciding to start a sales conversation is deciding to reject passivity and take your success into your own hands. And if you've been avoiding conversations, ask yourself, where is that going to get you? What's that going to get you to? I listened to a training this week, and they said something really fabulous, but she was talking about how quickly life goes by and how you really don't know when it's going to be your end time. But do you ever want your story to be like you're sitting around and you're talking to your grandkids and talking about life? Don't let your story be, I really, really wanted to go diamond so that in this company that I love so much, so that I could provide XYZ, your reasons for your why. And when your grandkid says, why didn't you? If your reason was, well, I was worried about people judging me, or somebody made fun of me, or people didn't like network marketing, will that make you proud that you didn't reach your goals because of whatever it is that is preventing you from getting in conversations? Just sit on that at some point later down the line. If you're ever explaining to somebody why you didn't reach your goals and you're telling them why you didn't, is it valid? Like if I don't finish the Chicago Marathon because I break my leg, that is real. Like that is real. If I don't reach my goals in Plexus because I wasn't in enough conversations and reaching out to enough people, I'm not proud of that. I could change that. And there are ebbs and flows in life. Like there's things in your times in your life where you're going to be like, I got time. I've been there. And you know that. But then there's times where you're like, I was actually just too lazy, embarrassed, not willing to be rejected. But I would rather be rejected by mostly strangers than not provide cool vacations for my kids, because those memories are amazing. You decide. Hold on, Crystalline, I know you asked a question. I was talking. When you say in conversations, are you meaning only sending messages, stories to people, or just commenting on something in their life via messages? So I think in conversations, it really is about, you're starting with conversations about their life. And I'll kind of, my next thing is 5-step framework for conversations that convert. But is that answering your question? Like when I like conversations, it doesn't have to be like boom, Plexus, boom, Plexus. It really is, but also if you are using this framework for conversations, you are not going to be stuck in that hamster wheel of building relationships, right? Because I feel like a lot of people 4 years ago got that message from Bob Hylick and haven't moved past it. Like you have to love first, and then they've been loving for 4 years and they never once asked the person if they wanted to order Plexus because they never figured out their problems, right? So I think that's important. to not spend the next 4 years loving on somebody without ever going anywhere with it. So here's your 5-step framework for conversations that convert. Number 1, build rapport and establish trust. So this looks like, again, showing genuine interest, asking open-ended questions, compliment sincerely, and initiate positive interactions. You know, if you're in my August rally chat, you would have seen my message today that right now is a great time to send DMs to people, like voice memos, telling them how cute their kids looked on the first day of school. Or, I'm praying for you, Mom. I know you're about to dig into another school year and it can be busy, but just loving, kind, complimenting, finding common ground, interest, or experiences, right? So I don't have any kids going back to school right now, but I have one going to college, but I can relate. I've sent enough kids to school that I remember what it was like. I've now sent enough kids to college that I remember what it's like the first time. So these are relatable conversations that you can have centered around back to school. I'm just talking about that specifically because that's where you are right now. And those are going to be genuine conversations. It is not going to be weird to somebody if in the month of August, you're reaching out to them about what back to school feels like. That's all they're focused on. If they're sending kids back to school, that's where their head is. So you sending a message really just tells them she sees me. Right? Ask thoughtful questions and be curious about their opinions or experiences. So when you're asking questions, what are you doing? You are continuing the dialogue. You're keeping it going. So number 2 in your 5-step framework is identify needs and qualify. So if you're asking good questions and you're connecting with people, you're going to be continually looking for a problem that you can solve. Do they have something that you want? They may not know it yet. Affirm, acknowledge, ask another question when they start to share things with you. Like if you're talking to them about back to school, you know, you could ask them, how do your kids or grandkids usually fare? Like, do they get sick a lot when school first starts back? Because that's pretty common. And then guess what they might want to take advantage of? Your back to school sale, right? But you're asking a genuine question. Every person who likes a post, votes, or comments should get a reach out. And it doesn't have to be like a, hey, saw you like my Plexus post, want to order? Here's an example of what it could be like. Thank you for liking my post. It encourages me so much when I feel like I shared something helpful, valuable, or educational. How have you been? What's going on with you these days? You're trying to get out of them what they liked about your post. And it could have just been they were being supportive. And that's nice, right? But you're thanking them for your post. So step 3, now we're going back to you found the problem, right? Because step 2 is identify needs and qualify. Step 3 is present your solution. So remember this old school, super easy method? If I, will you? Does anybody not remember that? If I sent you a quick 5-minute video, would you watch it? And then Eric Worre would say, when would you have time to watch it? Okay, perfect. If I follow up with you tomorrow morning, you'll for sure have watched it, right? Okay, but the if I will you, because now you're putting in those third-party tools to start to share a solution to the problem they have already shared with you. You're not sending it willy-nilly. Like you're not saying, hey, hope your kids have a great back to school year. By the way, here's a sale. Hope they don't get sick. That's not what we're doing. We're not doing that. You're going to address the specific need, problem, and pain point they shared. So continuing to touch back on those is going to increase the value because you're letting them know that you're sending them things specific to what they shared with you. You're not Like it may be the same thing you send to everybody, but when you've touched on the problem they shared, it feels like you were just have found this just for them. You're going to ask them if they would like help in blank area, the one that they shared the problem with. And remember that you have the answer to what they need. And your certainty and confidence is going to increase the perceived value. If you truly believe that you can help them, that will come out in what you're doing. Any questions about the 5-step framework? Even though I see what I'm doing. I misunderstood my own notes, but those are the first 3 steps. You're welcome. Step 4 is going from objections to closing. And if you can remember that objections are nothing more than sales cues, you won't be scared of objections, because people's minds automatically default to the negative, and we need to help them see what is possible. And here is a 5-step process to overcoming objections. So this is 5 steps within your step 4, in case there's any confusion, because I clearly confused myself when I was typing up my notes. So 5 steps to overcoming objections. Number 1, anticipate the objection. Phil Jones says that in sales, we only have 12 known objections. Don't be shocked when they come up. Be prepared. This is also the same guy that talks about the worst time to try to come up with your response is in the middle of the conversation. Because the objections that you're going to come across in Plexus, they're the same. Over and over and over again, they're the same. If you do not have Phil Jones's book, What to Say, what is it? What to Expect? Look up his book. It's I don't know. Get the Audible and just listen to it randomly. Judy's looking it up. Thanks, Judy. It's like what to say, what to expect. I don't know. I even have the workbook. But you can listen to that, like just when you're driving, like say you're just running a 15-minute errand, just listen to one of his things, because it'll start to stick in your mind how to respond to the main objections. Judy, did you get it?
It's exactly what to say.
See? I had it so wrong. I had the what to say, but it's a great Audible read by him, and you can literally just listen to it in snippets, and it will start to help you overcome objections. But that's anticipating the objection. Number 2 is understanding the root cause of the objection. So are they objecting because there's a lack of information, or because they have a genuine concern about what you're sharing with them? So we want to understand where their objection is coming from. Step 3, listen actively and isolate the objection. What does this look like? This can look like, I completely understand and know that spending money on yourself, especially as a mama, can feel like a big decision. I just want to make sure, is there anything else about the product that would stop you from moving forward other than the price? Okay, you're having them double down on what their objection is. Now you're going to isolate the objection again. This might feel silly, but listen to what this sounds like. Okay, well, if I was able to figure out the price issue for you, then could we move forward and grab your product so you can start moving towards your blank goal before blank? So fitting in their black dress before their reunion, whatever thing that you have figured out. Okay, so if I could fix that price issue, then you could move forward? Yes. Now, number 5, overcome the objection by finding a solution. So here is an example. Okay, let's make this work for you, because I know you don't want to delay your results, and you're wanting to feel comfortable in your blank at blank. So talk to me about the amount that you could budget for a product system, and then product match with their budget. You can also talk, and if they say, I really don't have any budget, I would then default to, do you have 3 friends that could start this with you? Okay. And that is because why I didn't go there first is because all you've talked to them about so far is the product. So let's see if we can get them the product in their price range before going straight to selling. Because what you might say, they might say $50. And then you could say, okay, we could start with this and this, but if you have 3 that you want to do this with you, you could actually start with this, this, and this to get these results and have more fun starting with your friends. So there's a way to do it, but just right now, what you're doing is seeing them where they are and you're solving the problem that they say that they have. Is that helpful in kind of how you're going about it? Any questions on that? Also, just so you know, I will share with you the 12 most common plexus objections and responses that you can have. I'm not going to go into those all on the call because you don't need to write them. You can take mine and print it or save it or do whatever you want with it. Okay. So here is step 5 of your sales system, the close and call to action. So a clear call to action examples. This is something when I was on the call with Sarah Robbins last week, I don't know if any of you were on that, but it's something she shared that she really covers in this book that we're going to go into is how often people don't get the sale because they don't actually ask for the sale. They don't pose a question that people have to respond to. But here are some examples of things that you could say. What do you say we give it a shot? Are you ready to dive in so we can get moving towards your goals? What do you say we jump in and see what's possible? Are you open to getting started to see what we can do together? And I'm so excited for you. Let's get your payment in and get you started. So here are some words to use. I'm going to give you some words to use and some words not to use. Words to use: get started, give it a shot, jump in, when would you like to start, agreement, I'm excited to work with you, and let's make this happen. Here are some words not to use. And you hear these and you're like, well, of course, that sounds horrible. But we're probably all guilty at some point or another of saying some of these. So they're worth noting. Words not to use: commit to the program or commit to the system. I think it's that word commit that scares people. Here's the thing, humans, especially, well, humans, period, are used to committing to something and then not sticking with it. That feels like failure. And if they've done that lots of times, they are scared. They're certain they're not going to be able to stick with it. So they're not going to commit to something. Trust me, you need this. They don't have to trust you if you have educated them and solved their problems, right? Give me your credit card number. That's a good one. I used to use that one a lot. Really, I sent them a Google form and told them to fill it out and put their credit card number on it. My husband is blown away. I got this little note card file thing with probably 200 people on it with their credit card numbers written on it. And he goes, you really should not. You should not have all of these. And I'm like, well, I need to, like, if I need to do their order right. He goes, this is really, you shouldn't have all of this. But I do, because, I said, okay, give me your credit card number. I'll get you ordered. The great thing about Share a Cart is we don't have to say that anymore. I cannot tell you the last time I told somebody to give me their credit card number. Okay, Share a Cart, best thing ever. I need you to decide now. You know what that's coming from? Desperation because you're trying to win something is where that comes from. Can you let me know in the next hour? That's desperation. Why haven't you decided yet? I actually have never said that, so shout out if you've never said that. And you'll regret it if you don't order. Now we've just made them feel like garbage. So I don't think that you would say a lot of those things, but worth noting, also worth knowing, because remember, this duplicatable system is in place so that you can train people to use it. And people who have never sold anything ever don't know what language to use. They don't, oftentimes, because they've never sold anything, right? They don't know. You were literally teaching people how to sell. All right, I'm going to just list the objections that I had. You don't have to write these down. This is what I'm going to send to you with responses. And then if there's other objections you think that aren't on this list, then we can discuss them. But here's common Plexus objections: cost concerns, skepticism about effectiveness, concerns over commitment, worried about side effects or sensitivities, fear of not seeing results, the perception that they're already healthy, discomfort talking about gut health, social influence or stigma around network marketing, overwhelmed by too many health products on the market. I mean, heavens, just walk down the aisle at Costco. Holy moly. Fear of dependency, a previous negative experience with health products, and just not sure how to get started. So those are objections that I have some responses for that I will share with you, but you're going to listen and validate all their concerns. And that's how you're going to build trust. And you're going to show that you can genuinely care about helping them find what works best for them. Because most objections can be turned into opportunities to build a deeper connection and providing solutions to their unique situation. Listen, those old school of us, no problem people bring to us anymore is unique. So are we being less empathetic because we've heard it 500 times? Maybe. Do we need to be more kind and reassuring to them? Because these people that only poop twice a week think they're the only people that only poop twice a week, and they've never talked to anybody about it before. Love on them like you would have 9 years ago. Because if we're all being honest, we speak differently than we did 9 years ago when everything was kind of new to us. Oh my gosh, I don't know. Let me check and see it. You know what I mean? Like true compassion, not a, I've heard it 500 times. Yep, here's what you want to order. Okay. So this is not the end of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I must have run out of paper. Hold on, y'all, because this is not the end of my notes. I know that for sure. Well, sorry, you guys. Give me just a second to print this. And if you have any questions about those things, let me know. Let me see.
I don't have a question, but I have an observation.
Tell
When
me.
you touched on the how we talked when we started versus how we talk now,
Mm-hmm.
and how we listen to people, excuse me, and how compassionate we are. I think you're spot on about having a little bit of I don't want to say lack of compassion, but more a bit of impatience because we're like, listen to me.
I think that is a great observation and super relevant because we want to say, I've actually said the words, I have been doing this for 10 years. Like, just trust me. Just come on.
Yes.
I've seen it all. And we have. There's not much any of us on this call haven't seen. Whether it's somebody we know really well having gone through it, or somebody that has shared from the stage that we trust, or a post from 8 years ago when it was illegal, but we weren't being tracked for breaking all the FTC rules, saying what we could fix, right? Like, we have seen it all. And we want people just to be like, don't you think sometimes, would I still be selling this 10 years later?
Or taking it.
Yes. If, like, how much money have you spent in the last 10 years on Plexus? I would hate to look at that number. If
Oh, I
I
won't
said
let
my
John run
husband
that
has it,
report.
I would,
Nope.
there have been times in our relationship where he's like, do you sell it just to pay for it? And I'm like, well, you're going to pay for it either way. So maybe. And that's never been the case. He just, likes lots of money. But I'm like, here's the thing. If I never sold it again, I'm still spending with my 4 humans. And then my husband, there's 6 of us. I'm spending a solid 600 a month on Plexus, whether I'm selling it or not. So you're welcome. Right?
Exactly.
But I think that you're right. We've seen it all, and we want to say to them, especially the people we know well, like, where have you been? Just order it. But going back to that, where we truly were, we would hear something and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Because you were once like that. I guarantee you. Okay, we are moving on to follow-up. All right. So if you've heard this once, you've heard it a million times, but sales is a process, and a no is not a no forever. That's not new to you. It's just the truth. And so, have you ever asked yourself, why don't I follow up more? It's usually about you. You don't want to be rejected. You don't want to be ghosted. You don't want to be judged. This goes back to what I was talking about. Like, is that going to be your answer to your grandkids for why you didn't do everything you really wanted to do? Because you were worried about being judged? Because you're probably telling them, don't you worry about what other people think. You're perfect just the way you are. Right? And you're probably telling them, if they're judging you, it's because they don't know you. Don't you worry about them. So is that really what you're going to use for why you didn't reach your dreams? When you're trying to teach them to not worry about, because in today's day and age, all of our kids are being, if they have social media, they're being judged. They're being rejected. They're being ghosted by somebody they sent a text message to. Listen, in our day and age, if we called a boy's house and his mom said he's not there, we might have thought she was covering for him, but we didn't have proof, right? He just couldn't come to the phone to talk to us. But in today's day and age, if our children send a text message to somebody and it shows red and they don't respond, our children have been ghosted. And it hurts. And we know it hurts because people ghost us all the time. But if we continue to rise up and come from a place of love and compassion and a heart to serve and help others, those people that ghost us, it doesn't matter, because we're looking for the one. We're looking for the one person whose life we're going to change. And we can't do that if we stop following up because we're worried they're judging us. It takes them nothing to ignore us. So even if they are judging us, that's okay. Listen, I got a text message back from a project broadcast the other day that was like, no, I'm not interested anymore and never contact me again. And I wanted to write, did you know you could have just replied stop and not been a total jerk face? But I was like, okay. You probably shouldn't have hearted the last text message I sent in project broadcast that made me think you were reading things and enjoying it. but also I don't care. I don't care. It can't phase you because, well, it can unless you detach from the outcome. So when I sent 300 messages last month and only signed 3 people, that meant 297 people either ghosted me, judged me, or rejected me. That's okay, because 3 people got started. And that's where my focus is. Okay, what are you going to focus on? You need to have high intentions with really low attachments. You've also heard that before. Just don't have an attachment to how they respond. My trick to that, I've shared it before, you know this, is to send lots of messages at once and not go back and open any replies until I'm done with my messages, because it'll derail me. If I'm committed to sending 30 messages, I send 30 before I go back and look at anything. Okay. The mindset shift that I'd love for you to have is being able to see follow-up as a part of the buying journey. It's part of the process, because then it becomes the most impactful activity you can do in your business. If you realize that people don't really order without you following up, listen, there's lots of people who have reached out to sell me things, and if they would have followed up once or twice, I probably would have ordered. Because I looked at it and I was kind of interested, but then I was like, it really doesn't matter because they didn't follow up. So realizing that it's a big part of the sales process, pretty critical. So here's your follow-up flow. You're going to remind them what their problem is. You're going to offer a resolution to the problem, and you're going to offer a call to action. So here is what that could sound like. Hey, Sarah, last time we spoke, you were hoping to lose 10 or 15 pounds before your son's wedding. And I didn't want you to continue feeling frustrated and like nothing you were doing is working. I've been there, and that's no fun at all. I am certain I can help you achieve your goal. Each week, we provide a meal plan with workouts to accompany your product system, and I'll be here to hold you accountable and encourage you, because I know accountability is so important when you're starting your health journey. Are you open to jumping in so that you can start seeing progress before the wedding? So you're touching on our problem, you're offering a solution for the problem, you're empathizing, and you're asking for the sale. Your great follow-up means that you're continuing to bring value to the table. So whether it's different testimonies or a different video, or I just stumbled across this, you're bringing value to them. And you are truly believing that everyone you're talking to is eventually going to order from you. It might be 4 years down the road, but let me ask you this. Are you still planning to be selling Plexus in 4 years? I am. So I would like it to be faster, but I'm going to be here when they're ready. And I will have continued to drip on them and love on them and offer solutions for when they're ready. Let's talk about your tracking system. How often are you going to follow up, and how will you keep track of who you're talking to? I am going to get into that right after I talk about leveraging events. This is something I don't think we have done well as a team with in a long time. Judy, I don't know if your team has been doing better with events, leveraging events. My team has not. And I really would love to link arms and kind of have a rotation of different leaders, different ones of us leading leveraging events. But let's talk about what they look like. So systematically, you want to have different types of events to pull from. You're going to have events that grow your customer base. So they really are product focused or opportunity focused, or no, just product focused. So growing your customer base. So like right now, there's the back to school event. There's the all in August event. You know, they're the big ones, but then we can also do smaller ones. that are more, boutique for our people. Having events that retain and show appreciation to your customers. So this is a customer care retention type event. I, as many of you know, have had individual conversations with the majority of my sideline sisters, meaning anybody underneath Natalie. And for anybody who has been, and this is recording, so I know these are things that I have shared with Natalie and Laura and Shay. Something that is brought up to me regularly is how much everybody used to love those fun live events where we had to like do certain things to get entered in, and then they would like do drawings for prizes and things, and it would be like ask questions. The last one of those I remember was in 2017. I remember Christmas, December 2017, I won the Pottery Barn robe. But do you remember how much we loved those? They acted a fool. They were drunk, probably, but they would have all our names in a bucket, and then we could get more entries by like asking questions, answering questions, and they'd pull names out, and they would just have a stack of prizes, and we could win them. And I have heard a complaint from almost everyone who was a part of that, that doesn't happen anymore. So I'm here to say, why don't we do it for our people? I will say it will probably be small right now. They're not going to be huge, but if we start them, like, what if we did one a quarter? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. But if we all loved it so much, why are we not doing it? Are we scared that we don't have enough people on our team to participate? Listen, I got about 200 customers that order every single month. It doesn't have to be a business builders event. Why can't it be open to customers, any customer who has ordered? And a community, and we can have we could make certain ones of us admins on the Zoom page where I do a drawing, share something fun, whatever. Judy does a drawing, share something fun. Kim, like different people, we go to the different people, but all of our teams, all of our customers, if they've ordered, is entered to win, but they have to be on live to win. And just starting to build that community. Listen, I thought those three acted a fool. They are bananas, but I laughed and I had fun. I liked watching people's faces when they did win something, get excited. That's the community. Is that not the community we're trying to build? I am. And I think if you're on this call, you are too. And there's no reason that we can't create that. Something to think about. We can discuss offline, but something to think about. Events to consider. Events hosted, this doesn't all have to be on you. Events hosted by Plexus. So those are the Monday opportunity calls and your Thursday product calls. Then they've been doing those like gut health knowledge calls. Those would be great for customers because the more they learn, guess what's going to happen? They're going to start to think of people that could benefit from the things that they learned. Okay. And I am guilty of not getting on those calls. What I should be doing is being on those whopping 15-minute calls and then thinking of people, oh my gosh, the way that Andrea Mitchell spoke reminded me so much of Crystalline. I'm going to reach out to Crystalline and tell her. That cannot happen if you are not on the calls. If you are not on the calls, those calls are not reminding you or triggering or prompting or whatever word you want to use of somebody who would benefit by getting on that, hearing that call, because you can send them the recording. It's in your Plexus Go app. So I personally need to commit to getting on those calls because it's how often when you're listening to like a YouTube video, does it make you think of somebody and you send it to them? I do it all the time. Ask poor Crystalline. There's no telling how many YouTube videos I have sent Crystalline in her lifetime, or at least the last 8 years. Hundreds probably, because you know me, I am a consumer of knowledge. I don't listen to music at all. I am listening to knowledge, and every time, it's very seldom that I don't share it with somebody. Why are we not doing that with the Plexus calls? Okay, so, all right, events. So take some time to bring down different types of events that you could host, plug people into, or promote. And do not shy away from coming into this group, like our August rally chat, and saying, hey, I'm thinking of this. Anybody want to partner with me to do this? You don't have to do it on your own. That's why that chat exists, is so that anybody in that chat should be working their business. And if you come with an idea to help grow your business and they can partner in with you, it's going to help both of you. It's going to go both ways. And it takes the load off for all of us. So spend some time thinking of events. It could be a messenger event, could be a Facebook group, it could be a vendor event, could be a Plexus thing. Spend some time brainstorming topics based on, so last week we talked about the product system that you're going to be marketing the most of. 85% of your marketing is going to be based on whatever you decided you were going to focus on selling to your group, your marketing persona that created. So we can create events around that. Like if it doesn't exist, it's right now, we can create it. All the knowledge exists. And listen, I pay Christy McDade a crap ton of money to create things for me. So if I took her an idea of what I wanted it to look like, she would create it for us. But give some thought to it. So when events are done strategically, they can truly fast track your success. You're getting people in, you're sharing information to multiple people. It's just great. And if you have events on your calendar, when you're talking to people, you have something to invite them to or to share with them. But in your follow-up, because in your follow-up, you're adding value, right? Follow-up could be, hey, I was just on this call. It's only 15 minutes long. Totally thought of you. If I sent it to you, would you watch it? When would you have time to watch it? It's 15 minutes long. Perfect. I will follow up with you then. Okay, so let's talk about your conversation tracker. Your tracker should include the name and the date of the first time you're talking to somebody, their problem, the product recommendation, their objection, and then subsequent follow-up dates. So Trisha Rager shared something pretty good. I've never been in a training with somebody who is she and her husband are both diamond. I think they're diamond, emerald. I don't know. They're diamond, something that sends the amount of messages and reach outs that this woman does. She literally does not start her day until she has sent a minimum of 30 reach outs a day. And she does it to her cold market. Facebook recommended I follow you. Excited to get to know you. Tell me about yourself. So she does that from bed in the morning before she gets up and starts her day. She sometimes sends upwards of 150 messages a day to people. So what she shared, because she goes, let me answer the question I get a lot, which is, how do I keep track of all these people? She said, most of these people will ghost me. I used to write all their names down and what day I messaged. Right? Although I'm keeping my list because it's keeping me focused on the 100 people I really want to be focused on. But she said, because I've already made my list, so it's good. But she's talking about like her cold reach outs, people she doesn't know. My list is all people, is a warm market. But so she said, There is no reason, what I have learned after having 400 different systems of writing down people's names of everybody I reached out to, she said, most people will ghost me. There is no reason for me to write down their name until they respond to me. Once I am in a conversation with them, I will write their name down. If they ghost me, they don't get written down. I will just keep messaging people. And I thought, because that does slow me down when I'm writing down, like, I have my Instagram has gone bananas over the last 3 weeks, and I am now at 4,000 new followers in 3 weeks on Instagram. So I've been trying to message all the new follows. Thanks for the follow. Tell me about yourself, blah, blah. I'm nowhere near caught up. But if I'm trying to write down all of their names while sending a message, it will take forever. So I really love that. It was almost like permission to not count them until you're in a conversation, because it truly doesn't count until you're in a conversation. Right? So you're going to have name, date of first conversation, the problem that you have figured out after being in a conversation with them, your product recommendation, their objection, because they're going to have one, and then continue to keep up with your follow-up dates and what kinds of things you're sending them or inviting them to, because you're adding value. Here is the data. We're right at an hour, but we're almost done. Here's the data I want you to collect. We'll start with, okay, so how many customers do you need to reach your goal? So for instance, if you want to go Emerald, I would say for this month, what goal do you want to have at the end of this month? If it is senior gold, you need 250 points. Is that correct? Okay, 250 points. So 5 on average, if you're going senior gold, you're probably only counting 1, 2, 3 levels. So on average, you're getting 5 points per each person when you're, at that point. So 5 into 250 is 50. Is that right? You need 50 customers to order to go senior gold. So what that means is, how many, let's see, divide 50 by 4 weeks, and that's how many customers you need per week. But if you know how many conversations you need to have on average, and that's the scary number, to get that many customers, but look at where you are, look at subscriptions, look at whatever, you may only need 6 new customers to hit senior gold at the end of the month. If that's the case, then maybe you need to have 500 conversations or 500 reach outs that turn into, if you only need 6 new customers, you probably only need to be in 24 conversations over the month, right? So what you're doing is you're trying to figure out how many conversations you need to be in to reach your goal. Then what you also need to do is find out who else on your team underneath you is going to be in conversation this month and how many they will commit to, because that will subtract from your number. The beautiful thing is that it compounds. We all know if you are staying in conversations and reaching out 5 days a week over and over and over again, your number is going to decrease, because they're going to start, more people are going to see your posts, you're following up with more people, you're dripping on more people. So if I had to talk to 100 people for every new customer or 100 reach outs for a customer, that is going to be less. I promise you by December, if I am following my system, I'm going to be closer to 20 reach outs to a customer. Also, I'm not going to be after doing all the reach outs, because ideally I've got 5 or 6 people on my team by then reaching out and sending messages also. So if you need to send 300 messages, but you got 3 people on your team working, you each send 100, that's not bad. As long as they are committing to it, and doing it. So the goal is to use the data to figure out how many conversations this week you're going to have and what your conversion rate is. So maybe to help with you gaining your data, not writing their names down, but maybe tally marks every time you send a cold reach out. Just so you know, okay, I sent 50 DMs and I heard back from 5 people. Okay, that helps me. You don't have to write the 50 people down. You're going to write the 5 people down. But if you've got 50 tally marks, you know how many you sent that week. Just you do you, but track it. Find a way to track it. And that's it. So let me rehash your sales system checklist. And don't worry, because I've got an 11-page document that covers all of it that I can send you, that Christy will turn into a really pretty notebook that your team will be able to use. But you're on this call, so it will make sense when you look at my notes, right? You don't want to send this to everybody. It's too much. We're going to create a really pretty notebook that lets them, workbook that lets them do it, and a short one. Okay. Sales system checklist, what we have covered over the last 2 weeks. Pick the product system or the category you're going to focus on for 85% of your marketing. Create your obsess list. This is your list, remember, of 20 things that this product system helps with for your people that you're marketing to. ChatGPT is your best friend in that. Identify your marketing persona. Clearly identify your marketing persona and fill out the framework that includes, remember, who they are, their problem, the external internal impact of their problem, the change they will see, and the impact of the change on their life. We covered that last week, but just if you aren't doing those steps, you still don't know who the hell you're selling to. It's so much easier if you know who you're selling to, because if you know who you're selling to, that's going to help us create events, right? That's going to help what you're sharing. Here's a couple things. Create a resource for the conversation framework, a training resource for your team to refer back to. So that's what I am working on. It will not be 11 pages long. It will be a nice little thing, like the recruitment workbook I created that is like 6 pages long that you could send to somebody who wants to just start working the business. They don't need all the nitty-gritty. They need here's the first things you do. Anticipating the objections. So a go-to resource for that, I'm going to share that with you. It's actually a part of this document, but I can also send you the individual document so that if you just want to look at objections, you can. Your follow-up framework. So having a resource that teaches the follow-up flow to your team. My thought is that just needs to be a quick Zoom video that's just covering like how we follow up and why it's so important and why it's not following up doesn't mean you suck at sales because people didn't order right away. Follow up means you're really good at sales because it's an essential part of the process. And that's where people are missing it. They're thinking if they have to follow up, it's because they didn't do good the first time. Have any of you ever gone to a car dealership? Because if you have, those humans have called you every day for 12 weeks, seeing if you got a car yet. They're really good at follow-up. You know who else is great at follow-ups? Real estate agents. They'd be sending you emails about, you were maybe thinking about looking at a house 4 years ago and you're still getting emails about things that might fit into your thing. And then leveraging events. So what I love about this is it's a system. Nobody has to duplicate your personality because they can't. They can't do it. But when you're teaching people, and my thought is to break down these blocks, because now we have 2 hours worth of calls. My thought is that I need to break them down into quick little 5-6 minute YouTube videos that we're able to share with people. That's in the process as I'm working to change the guides and update the guides in Goal Diggers, which I've told you guys I was going to work on. So that is in the works because somebody brand new is not going to watch our 2-hour training, and they are not going through the same things we are this long in the business. They need a quick boom. Here's 5 things. When you've done this, let me know. I have something else that might be helpful for you. Okay. Questions, thoughts, more that you need from me? Send me a DM if you do. I will get this recording up. Thank you, Kim, for the reminder last week. It literally was on my list for 4 days, I think, to get the Zoom uploaded, and you sent that. Oh, it takes me 3 minutes, but life, life. So your question, any questions you guys ever have is never a bother to me. It lets me know what would be more helpful to you and what you need more of. All right, you guys, I appreciate you so much for taking the time and being on here and allowing me to make use of trainings that I have done. I'm grateful for you guys. You're the best. All right. Message me if you need anything. Love you guys. Bye.